It's Stacey Cole and Carol Hughes on Murder in the Morning. Carol's been filling in for Tony all week. Appreciate everything that you've done. You've researched a lot of things, and boy, we've talked a lot about DNA, and there's no shortage of DNA news, and we've got some more for you
that's
as well.
The truth. And it is a complicated thing to follow, as far as the science of it. You and I, we're not experts. We know what it is when they say the DNA matched or the DNA, But man, this next story, this messes up so many things.
It does. And this is not the first time we have talked about Yvonne Missy Woods. She is from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, known as CBI. They have released its internal affairs report on Missy Woods, a former emphasis on former forensic scientist whose work has been pivotal in thousands of criminal cases over nearly 3 decades. The report reveals significant misconduct, raising concerns about the reliability of her testing and prompting a comprehensive review of her casework. I want to know how many people are in prison because of her that shouldn't be.
Now, I don't know how you do DNA testing. I don't get the science of it because my brain does not work like that. You could explain it to me and it still wouldn't sink in. But it's almost like the people on trial here and the victims too. I mean, it affects everyone. There was an actual victim of the crime. There's their families. There's the accused families. There's so many people affected by the outcome of a trial. And then she could just not even do her job properly. And it's like, these aren't even people with feelings and lives and futures. There's no regard for that. Maybe she didn't care and it was just another case to get off her desk. And so I don't know exactly what she was doing, where they did, it was discovered, but it goes back quite a while.
It really does. And the story is as follows. Anomalies in her work were first detected in September 23 during a management-initiated research project. This led to an extensive investigation, including third-party scrutiny by the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. The findings revealed that her work deviated from the standard testing protocols, omitted material facts in official records, and altered or omitted some test results from case files.
Altered.
However, the investigation found, altered or omitted. The investigation found no evidence of her falsifying DNA matches.
Even if she didn't falsify DNA matches, I wonder what it is that she was altering and omitting test results from case files. What does that mean, I wonder?
And what part does it play in what these cases end up doing? Now, so far, 654 cases that she worked on have been questioned, with additional cases from 1994 to 2008 under review. And retesting these DNA samples is costing the state of Colorado nearly $7.5 million.
$7.5 million.
So far. It's a lot. So the report highlights that concerns about her work date back to 2014, when a coworker questioned her testing of evidence and then reported it to a technical leader. In 2018, she was accused of data manipulation and temporarily reassigned. Despite these concerns, the issues were not escalated to higher authorities, and she was reinstated. During her 29-year tenure with CBI, Woods was involved in several high-profile cases in Colorado, including the investigation of basketball player Kobe Bryant on rape accusations and the murder of University of Colorado student Susanna Chase.
I had to look up that case because I was like, could it be something to do with the DNA testing that influenced this case? And I looked at the case, and the case really boiled down to, because I remember at the time it was big news, but it really did boil down to, she said she was raped, he said it was consensual. So I don't know what she could have done to have altered that or influenced that case in particular. but I had forgotten about that actually. So I don't know that, I don't know what she was doing. Like in this whistleblower in 2014, there was something that she was doing that somebody was like, this is not right. They report it. And then they didn't do anything. And then in 2018, she was temporarily reassigned and then they brought her back.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I've never worked in DNA. It has nothing to do with this, but I've worked in places where I'm going to be careful with where I step here. I've worked in and it has nothing to do with the veterinary world. I'm just going to say that where I've worked and I brought to management documentation of somebody's wrongdoing, like written video and audio samples of somebody doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and not a damn thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you, this isn't anything new.
And this is going to cost the state $7.5 million minimum. And I think they kind of deserve it. This is on them.
Mm-hmm.
This person was a whistleblower. They temporarily reassigned her. They hired her back. There's evidence. There's reports of her misconduct and whatever it was exactly she was doing. And they let her do it. There seems to be no checks and balances. Like, oh, she just got away with it. Now,
sorry.
Don't you also think just retesting these DNA samples will cost the state nearly $7.5 million? Won't that also lead to a lot of convictions being overturned or trials having to be done again?
I would think so.
So
you've just given
millions.
them reason to reopen cases now.
Mm-hmm. So anybody who's in prison right now and she was involved in their case, I would think that alone should give them a retrial.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be a way to appeal.
So think of the money that's going to be spent now.
Mm-hmm. But I also think well, you let her get away with it. People were trying to say, look.
Director Chris Schaefer said in a news release, "We deeply regret that one of our analysts violated CBI's code of conduct and failed to maintain our high standards." While the focus of the internal affairs report addressed Wood's misconduct, we acknowledge that it took too long to detect ongoing intentional manipulation of our lab system. What were you doing?
And what was the intentional manipulation of the lab system? I would like to know, if it wasn't her messing with DNA results, what was she doing? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it doesn't really make that clear. It's like, there's things that she did. What? What was it?
Yeah, what did she do? And I'm concerned about management here. Why are you seeing anomalies and things that shouldn't be happening in a scientific lab and going, not a big deal? Yeah, it is a big deal because science is real and science has methods. And if somebody's not following the methods, the results are not accurate, you dumbasses. That's how science works. There's a progression of steps that you have to follow. And if she's not doing her job, get rid of her and find somebody who does the job. It took us too long to respond. Yeah. Shut up.
Was it maybe, she's getting results and the case is solved. We're not going to mess with it. We're not opening that can of worms with Yvonne. I just don't understand it. But I would also like to know more because they're being kind of vague. And maybe they're intentionally being vague so people don't go, aha, my case involved that. But I would just think her name associated with anybody's case would be grounds for an appeal.
Or the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. So now they are completely tainted. I mean, how is their reputation going to stand if that's their response to anything? It's ridiculous. I don't know. There's a separate criminal investigation into her actions. It's being conducted by the South Dakota Division of Criminal Investigation. The CBI has stated that to protect the integrity of this ongoing investigation, no further information can be released at this time. whatever. I just
brought in.
You took two.
They
I mean, seriously, if somebody worked at McDonald's and messed up terribly,
right,
management would step in and deal with them. The fact that they waited this long and just shrugged their shoulders, no. You can tell I'm pissed about this.
Exactly. At McDonald's, if you're not putting the saucer on the Big Mac, whatever it is you do to put those things together, if you're not doing it right, you're going to get fired.
Exactly.
But it kind of does make me laugh. It's like they brought in the big hitting Kansas Bureau of Investigations. Now, I think our Bureau of Investigations is fine. In South Dakota, it seems like you'd be bringing in the FBI or somebody like that instead of South Dakota and Kansas.
I would hope so. So yeah, again, I'm going to follow this case because I think it's important. I think it casts a very dangerous light on DNA evidence.
Absolutely.
We rely on it so heavily now. Like if we see that somebody's DNA is at a crime scene, we go, okay, they did it. Well, if now we've got some question here, is it accurate?
And I want to know what she's doing, because it says the agency maintains the Internal Affairs did not find evidence of Woods falsifying DNA matches or fabricating DNA profiles, but her actions have significantly impacted the integrity of the lab's work. If this is all related to the lab's work, what is it then that she had done?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know. And they ain't saying right now.
Keep an eye.
They ain't saying.
Yep. It's probably going to be years before we figure it out.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers Podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.